My name is Nivedhan Singh, and I'm the Manager of Education and Community Engagement at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. I also co-produce TPAC's Inside Out podcast with my colleague, Kristen Horsley. If you've ever driven past TPAC and seen multiple school buses parked outside, no, it is not a conspiracy to monopolize all of the parking in downtown Nashville. It's hundreds of local school children making their way to their seats in one of TPAC's theaters for an exclusive Season for Young People performance. But what is Season for Young People? Is a Season for Young People performance just an excuse for a field trip? Or is it more? I sat down with several local high school teachers from participating schools as they prepared to bring their students to see Nearly Lear, an award-winning and dynamic one-woman tour de force that honors the beautiful language of Shakespeare's King Lear while taking a bit of poetic license. Here's what teachers had to say about the importance of Season for Young People in their classrooms. First, we'll hear from April Gunter, a teacher at Siegel High School.
My name is April Gunter, Siegel High School in Murfreesboro, and I have brought my production class today to see Nearly Lear as a great way to just see how people do lots of different characters, lots of different voices, and create character.
Tell me about your production class. That sounds really interesting.
They stay in production most of the year. They do a fall play. They just did The Legend of Sleepy Hollow last week. And then they do Thursday Night Live in the spring, kind of like Saturday Night Live. So lots of comic skits and dances and things like that.
And what is it about coming to TPAC and seeing a show here that enriches that course?
It's seeing actors take it to the next level for them. They tend to hold back a little bit in high school when they act until they see other people doing it on stage, and then it kind of clicks and they go, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like while we're up there. So it's really great for them to come and be able to see people who really, this is their life's craft, doing it on stage.
And how many years have you been participating in Season for Young People?
Oh, gosh, a lot.
A lot of years.
About 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So almost since it started in some ways.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so just in summary, what would you say that Season for Young People means to your school community?
For them to be able to come outside of school and see a variety of different things. A lot of times there's cultural things from different cultures that they can come see that they ordinarily wouldn't get to see. There's a lot of Shakespeare that's here. And so it really just gives them an opportunity to come as a group and experience live theater together.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you so much.
I got a chance to speak with Carrie Jones, a theater and English teacher at Monterey High School, who speaks to the importance of student exposure to the high-quality performances at TPAC.
Well, I teach at Monterey High School. I'm the theater director as well as the AP English literature and language teacher, and I also teach 10th graders. So I've been doing that for about 12 years, and one of my favorite things to do is to bring my kids, because Monterey is a very rural community. We do not have any professional theater in our county. So when we get to come to TPAC, it really is an opportunity for them to see professional theater at a high level, different kind of formats than they've usually seen. Most of them have only ever been in a proscenium stage, so it's really interesting for us to get to see the different methods they have here. You know, the black box, the thrust stage, all these different things that TPAC is able to offer that we aren't able to see anywhere else.
Wow. And have you noticed, you're working with these theater students every day. Have you noticed a difference, in their engagement after witnessing a Season for Young People show?
Oh, absolutely. I think that when you expose students to things that they've never been able to see before, they're able to put, real tangible things on them. They're able to see what can come of this. It's not just doing plays in your high school. There are careers out there in this. There's technical jobs out there in this. There are so many things that they've never had the opportunity to experience. And when you come to a place like TPAC where they really focus not just on the theater, but on the education of the students, it makes a huge difference for them because they know that you're engaging in what they're learning and how to make that relevant for them.
And how many years have you been participating in Season for Young People?
I think I first brought my students to TPAC probably about 8 years ago. We have been really lucky and blessed to be able to participate with lots of things at TPAC. We've done the Spotlight Awards a few times, and that has been really great for my kids. And they've just provided so many workshops and trainings that my kids have been able to get. Sometimes it's nice for them to learn about theater from someone other than me.
Right.
And professionals in the field. So probably about 8 years.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Carrie. It really means a lot. And just in summary, what would you say that Season for Young People means to your school community?
Season for Young People is absolutely essential for us. I love that my kids get to see Broadway level productions and get to experience that in their learning. They get to kind of go out of their comfort zone and experience something that maybe they haven't seen. The first time I came to TPAC, I had about 5 students who had never even been to Nashville.
Wow. So
it was really just an eye-opening experience. And that just means so much to my kids, especially coming from a rural community where they don't always get to see life outside of that.
Wow. Well, we're so lucky to have you, Carrie. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was lucky enough to get to sit down with Susanna Hamnet, the aforementioned one-woman tour de force of Nearly Lear, an abridged version of the Shakespeare classic of her own design. Here's what the star of this week's Season for Young People show had to say.
My name's Susanna Hamnet, and this morning was a one-person retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear.
Just a small play.
Just a small play that we made into an 80-minute retelling of the sort of the essential story of Lear, the family story of Lear. And that story was told through the perspective of his fool, his trusty fool, who in this version, because I am a girl, was a girl who, in good old Shakespearean tradition, disguised herself as a boy to get the job of being Lear's fool.
What a beautiful piece, and you did such a great job of weaving together all the emotional themes of such a dense show in a way that felt so digestible for a high school audience. Would you tell, you've performed this for hundreds and thousands of people, I'm sure, at this point. What is unique about doing it with a school group like this?
Oh, well, there's such a beautiful energy that students have, and they're so open. Sometimes with adult audiences, they've sort of internalized theatre etiquette and they're a little bit more closed. But with an audience of younger people, often it's sort of a little bit more immediate. There's a bit more energy buzzing around the room. And also it's lovely when people know the play. I love that. But when people don't know the play and there's that it's new, what do you mean she does that? Oh, she can't do, you can't, he doesn't, what? There's often like this kind of fresh, visceral energy and quite a vocalized energy as well, which is so beautiful because then you just play off it and you have this wonderful relationship with each other,
We had a really nice vocal audience this morning, I thought.
It was wonderful. And it does, because this piece there's no fourth wall, so there's no pretend boundary between me and the audience. I'm telling them a story. I'm taking everybody on this journey. We really go on it together. So however the audience is reacting, I can take that and go with it, run with it, play that a little bit more, like really feel how they're doing. So that vocal energy is beautiful. It's a real gift, actually.
So each show is really a bit different depending on the audience.
Oh, yeah. And depending what happens as well, because that's the other thing about this sort of clown, no fourth wall way of telling a story, is that whatever happens, you just incorporate it in. You don't pretend that it didn't happen. So, fire alarms go off, people come in late, bits of set break, people speak back to you, you can take it and incorporate it, which means that everybody is kept very much in the present moment. rather than us all just, oh my God, you know, that piece of scenery fell over and everyone's pretending that it didn't. There's a sort of a discomfort sometimes in that, isn't there? Whereas you just acknowledge that something's happened. You acknowledge that that group of people came in late and everybody goes, oh, that happened. And then you're back in the story. So I really love that freedom. And it means that every show is completely unique, which is just a beautiful way of working.
Absolutely. And you were so generous with your time with doing a talk back at the end of the show. Why do you think those talk backs are important?
Oh, I love it. I love it because for so many reasons, because we have built this relationship over 80 minutes. Like it is a relationship. And, you know, in a good show, hearts have been opened a little bit. That's what you hope, right? Is that there's been a connection. And so to be able to continue that a bit and talk a little bit about anything that people might want to know and just keep building that relationship. And you sort of hope that over the years, maybe every now and then you might have a little bit of something that might be useful to share, you know, because I was 16, 17, 18 once. And like I said this morning, you never know where that little moment of encouragement might come, that somebody just says that thing that makes you go, oh, maybe I could, or I hadn't thought about something like that. And it might not be you. You don't know. There's no, you know, I have no illusion that I have the answers to very many things at all, but it might be you. And so it's lovely to have that opportunity to talk and also to learn back. Like, what are your questions? What did you get for it? What were your reactions? You know, because I'm still learning about this play.
Wow. Well, before I get too emotional here, thank you so much, Susanna. This meant a lot. It was a beautiful performance. And thank you for being so generous with your time and taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, it's an absolute delight and honor. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Next up, I spoke with Chris Moore, a teacher at Greenbrier High School who tells us more about bringing the stage to the classroom and vice versa. So I understand you've been a part of Season for Young People before. This isn't your first year participating?
This is close to my 15th year participating.
15th.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we couldn't come. But as soon as you opened back up, we came, and I can't remember the production we saw, but I come every year because the kids get so much from it.
I was going to ask, my next question is, you know, what does Season for Young People mean to you and to your school community?
Well, for my kids, it's we read the work, we talk about the work, and then to see it actually live brings it so much more into their understanding, and it helps them to remember. And for a lot of our kids, they don't get out to things like this, so it's a life memory for them.
So there's really more to the experience than just seeing the show here. It's a part of the school curriculum outside of our TPAC doors.
Yes, in my curriculum, yes. Now, in some schools, I know they don't, but I make it a priority.
So this production is nearly Lear. Did you all read Lear in the classroom?
Yes, both my colleague and I. He had freshman advanced students. They read it, and then my creative writing class is going to do a similar thing with any play, how she adapted her play. So yes, we both read it.
Wow, that's so exciting. I hope that they get a lot out of this abridged version of the performance.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Chris, so much for sitting down with us. This really means a lot.
Okay, thank you.
I sat down with my boss, TPAC's Roberta Chufo, to find out more about the impact of Season for Young People in our community.
My name is Roberta Chufo, and I am Executive Vice President for Education and Community Engagement at Tennessee Performing Arts Center. And I have been programming the Season for Young People at TPAC for several years.
So there's a long history of Season for Young People at TPAC. I spoke with some teachers who said they've been doing it for 20 plus years.
There are some teachers who came here as young people.
Wow.
Which is super cool. So you get to see and hear about their perspective, you know, as young people, as children, as students, and then as educators.
That's amazing. They get to experience both sides of it.
Yeah.
It's like really a legacy.
It is.
So tell me a bit about how Season for Young People specifically supports our mission here at TPAC.
You know, everyone deserves the opportunity to experience art in a dynamic, interesting, creative, reflective, safe space, but especially young people. And so the Season for Young People is an opportunity for TPAC to curate these kinds of arts experiences, performing arts experiences for young people pre-K through 12th grade in an environment where teachers, schools, parents know that they will be learning, they'll have the opportunity to discover, to grow, to challenge, to question, but all in a place that is designed, curated, and appointed, just for people like them.
There are other performing arts venues in town, other opportunities, other field trips, let's be honest. What is unique about TPAC?
TPAC, for the entire history of the Season for Young People, has been bringing artists and companies to perform on the season from around the world. So we love our local artists, we support them and our performing arts groups, and we definitely present them on our season. We work with national groups as well, so artists from across the country. But then there's also the opportunity to bring artists from different corners of the world. So, different perspectives, ideas, cultures are introduced to these young people, often for the very first time. The important thing about, that kind of diversity, that kind of, diverse programming and access to it is, it provides young people the opportunity to work through, in many instances, some challenging subjects together, in an appropriate setting and in a place where, it's fun, easy, and, sort of energizing to experience.
Well, we certainly have seen that. This week we spoke with some of the students that had been to Nearly Lear, and just seeing their faces light up, it was really moving to see how much they were engaged.
Well, it's a good example of, an international work that we're presenting for high school students, and, to learn about Shakespeare, in this different setting, being told by one person, one artist, a woman who is representing a role in Shakespeare that has not typically been cast that way. And it's the artist's own interpretation of that work. So, there's this is the only place that they're going to get to see this specific production of King Lear.
It is such a unique opportunity and such a unique piece, and I'm so looking forward to all the amazing Season for Young People programming that we have coming up this year. And I'm just grateful for you for your commitment to the program over these many years, Roberta.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I have to say, this is the easiest job because it is the most exciting, the most fulfilling, and rewarding.
Don't take our word for it. Nashville School of the Arts high school senior Sarah Whitehead tells us the exact impact this program has had on her theater education.
So I am a senior at NSA. I've been there all 4 years. It's been an interesting 4 years just because of COVID. I'm in the theater conservatory and the choir conservatory, and it's a dream. I love it so much. I am hoping to pursue musical theater in college, so hopefully being at Nashville School of the Arts will help with that. Yeah, it's wonderful.
That's great. Tell me about theater conservatory.
Yeah, so theater, we had a teacher last year who is very much tech-oriented, so we not only get acting and performing and all of that stuff, but we also get lighting and costuming and all of the things that are behind the scenes for theater. So it's really wonderful.
That's awesome. And so I would imagine that you've been to a few of these Season for Young People shows then.
Yes. And we don't take as many trips to TPAC as I think we're going to this year, which is wonderful. And I'm so excited. And I think it's so important because especially in like junior seniors if they don't know what they want to do and they're just there because theater is a hobby and they love it, they can see the performances and really find like that maybe that's what they want to do, or they see the lighting and they're like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. And it's not the same for videos, especially if you're not super into theater like some people at the school are. You just need that experience to be like, that is awesome and I want to be a part of it.
There's something about being in the actual room for a live performance,
yes.
right? Have you gotten any friends that aren't necessarily into theater more interested because of these shows?
100%. I have a friend who does sports, and he was gonna do football for college, but he needs a major, so we're all like, you should like come to these shows and do theater as your major, but you can still do football. Like that kind of thing.
That's great. That's a good friend.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Season for Young People show that you've seen so far?
They're all wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for today. I love Shakespeare. And I've been in a few Shakespeare productions, so I'm really interested to see what this is going to be. Yeah, and I'm really excited.
That's great. We're really excited for Nearly Lear
Yes.
as well. So just in in a few words, how would you summarize what Season for Young People means to you?
I think it's an opportunity for young people to discover what theater means to them.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you.
Lastly, we'll hear from TPAC's Trasia Jackson, who speaks to the administrative responsibilities that go into a Season for Young People show, and also the wholesome emotions that come with the job. Well, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Trasia Jackson, one of my desk mates and good friends and colleagues here at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. Trasia, tell us a little bit about what your role is here at TPAC and how that relates to Season for Young People.
Yeah, so I am the Education Enrichment Manager for the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, which just in a nutshell means I am the ringleader of Season for Young People. So I take care of reservations at the very beginning, helping my colleagues in our department actually help me get the word out working with marketing department. So we start with getting the word out for Season for Young People to schools, talking to teachers, getting their reservations in, coordinating their arrivals, getting them in the building safe, getting them seated, planted. So I've had the pleasure of meeting several schools, teachers, tons of adorable students. It has been a really awesome year, and this is my first year getting to do it with like more of a lead role in it and having the support. So it's actually been really exciting this year. So yeah.
What would you say is the most fulfilling part of doing that work?
Oh God, the faces. Oh my goodness. Getting to see them and hearing from teachers, who really do love the arts and are really trying to integrate the arts back into their school systems and their curriculum by any means necessary, getting to hear from them how grateful they are to be able to be in the space, because I grew up in art, so I don't have a world, or I can't imagine a world without it. And there are so many people, students, adults, who have a world without art, theater, any medium of it. So definitely the day of show when they come in and they're just all excited to be here, just on 1,000, which is awesome.
So for those schools, does it function like a field trip for them?
Yes, 100%. So essentially, we have more of like a formal way that they can apply and place reservations, but we do have teachers that call us and are like, hey, like, do you even have field trips? How do we go about it? And sometimes we walk them through it from, step to step. So any way to get them in the building, that's what we do. And we don't just serve public and private schools. We have homeschool groups that come too. So we have the pleasure of serving any type of education system to get them in here. We can have groups of 300 come in, and to
homeschool families of 2. So, I mean, it's definitely a diverse group, and it's amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Trasia. It really means a lot to get to sit down with you and learn about this program from you directly. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you so much for asking and asking to even have this conversation in the first place. I really do love what I do. I love getting to work with our teachers. I love getting to work with our kids, and I definitely want more teachers and more students in our building. So anything that we can to get them in here, thank you so much for even shining a light on our program. So.
Thank you so much for taking the time to find out more about this dynamic, integral program happening every school year. You can find out more about how to book a Season for Young People performance for your students at tpac.org under the Education and Community tab today. We hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. We'd like to thank our Inside Out presenting sponsor, Vanderbilt University, as well as the Tennessee Arts Commission, the Metro Nashville Arts Commission, and Nissan. You can find all of our podcasts at tpac.org or on all of your favorite podcast platforms.